They are Canada's largest kayak and paddle sports specialty store, and we have them here with us today talking about all kinds of summer fun. And Jason Yarrington is with us, and we're going to talk about paddleboarding now. And I was just telling you, this is one of the things that I've wanted to try for a while now. This is becoming really big right now.
Yeah, the last 5 years, the popularity of stand-up paddleboarding, or what they call it SUP, has become just crazy with Arnold Schwarzenegger on TV in California.
Right.
With the commercials, and it's taken off everywhere, and it's great. It's one of the best fitnesses you can possibly get.
Because you're working everything.
You're working the whole core.
Yeah. And so the idea of it is, and you're not going to sink on this. And some people might think, oh, it's going to sink underwater. I'm going to be trying to balance. This is a solid piece of equipment here.
You're not going to sink at all. It's all foam filled on the inside of it. They do have boards that are made for some different weight classes. So if you're over 200 pounds, you might get a little thinner board from the size here, from a 4-inch board to a 5-inch board, just for the thickness of the board so that your feet aren't underwater.
Okay.
But this board here will hold someone up to about 235 pounds. So that's a lot of people that are going to be out and paddling. And we do have a larger board that will hold the next level up, and even in windy or wavier conditions. Okay,
so hop on and show us how you stand, what you do.
You're going to jump on the board. You're standing just normally. Your knees are just a little bit bent.
Yep.
And this is it. It's just like canoeing in the stroke. So you're going to have the same stroke as a canoe, and you're just going to paddle on the one side. Instead of doing a J stroke around the back, a lot of the time you're doing a C stroke and coming in.
Okay.
It's very simple. A lot of people will start off just on their knees, just to get the balance at first. Once you get that balance point, it's quite easy to stand up. Once you get your standing position, you can walk back on the board, you can bring the nose up, you can walk forward. It's quite fun. And they're doing a lot of other things. There's a lot of yoga classes now being done on the water with boards.
So how do they do that? Are you actually holding the paddle still? Or what are you doing?
A lot of the time they'll put the paddle down and they'll just go sideways and do most of their poses on a sideways position, but depending on where you're going to be at, you can put the paddle under the deck, or you just have it on a paddle leash.
Can you imagine how nice that'd be to do sunrise or sunset yoga out on the water on your paddleboard? And I would imagine, we're already talking about working, your stabilizers when you're, standing firm and paddling, but then add in maybe a little wake coming at you and some waves.
A little bit of wind and wave always makes it more fun. So. And once you get that, your toes are a real big part of actually stand-up paddleboarding too, because your toes will open up and you're grabbing with your toes for your short muscles to grab.
As in yoga, right?
As in yoga, that's right.
Now, one of the cool things that you do, because like you said, you rent them out, so it's kind of like a try it before you commit type of thing.
That's right.
So you have that option, but you also do demo nights on Wednesdays, which is great.
We do. Every second Wednesday we do stand-up paddleboard demos, which you can sign up with us and come down to the water, and we can go out with you and paddle a little bit and get to try the stand-up paddleboard.
That is so cool. So you actually get to try it out on the water.
You can try it out.
That is amazing. So, so we talked a little bit about pricing. What would something like this be? What would we be looking at?
So this is a little bit of a higher end board. It only weighs in around 31 pounds. It does have a bamboo base on it, so there's a nice look to it. It's easy to pick up with the handle in the center, and it's also got a full foam across the whole back of the board. A lot of the boards don't have that, so you can't stand back on the board when you're going to do something and just to play around out there. And this one starts at around $1,500 and goes up.
Wow.
You can get boards starting around $800 and go forward. But a better quality board off the start, we're noticing right now in the last few years, is just more economical in the long run.
Yeah, well, and you mentioned it being lightweight. You can pick it up by the handle there and carry it. So I would imagine you can just strap it to the roof of the car.
You just strap it right to the roof of the car on foam. It's real easy to put up. Anyone can put it up because of the lightness of being around 31 pounds.
And off you go. I love it. Coming up in the next segment, what are we going to talk about?
We're going to talk about kayaks, actually. Next segment is all about kayaks and safety in kayaking.
Wonderful. Love it. Ottawa Paddleshack with us today. Coming up, we are going to revisit a segment where Ted Reeder,